he still has one more chance to make things right then and there. He could have simply just killed Palpatine. But why didn't he? What's the real answer? All of life's mysteries have different stories from different points of views, where one person might tell you that Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one, another may say that those prophecies are just flawed. Today's story, in a sense, is no different. For years, we've found different answers on the motivations of Darth Vader as he settled into his new life as the masked villain. However, not all opinions are equal, and one opinion in particular could in fact be the answer we've been searching for all along. Guys, welcome back to another special video today with a very special topic at hand, and one in fact that has been discussed and debated for a very long time. Today we'll be discussing why didn't Darth Vader kill Palpatine? And the time frame we're looking at for Vader killing Palpatine in this context for me is not unlimited. I'm more or less targeting those years immediately after Revenge of the Sith. I think those are in fact the prime years where an abrupt betrayal was most likely, because this is where Anakin probably experienced his deepest suffering and grieving when thinking about the death of Padme. For that answer, I'm going to take a deep dive into the Star Wars archives 1999 to 2005 by Paul Duncan himself. We're going to be adding in our own 2 cents to those facts as well. In this great book, we're not only treated to an immense interview and super deep dive into the history of Star Wars, but Mr. Duncan also managed to extract some fantastic pieces of lore from the maker himself, George Lucas, that he goes on record for. Now, when we think of those final moments for Revenge of the Sith, I'd go out and say most people recall the final duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin as the premier moment, but I think less would harken back to the scenes of Padme's death, Darth Sidious's first dialogue with the newly assembled Vader, and other scenes like where Obi-Wan finds out Padme is pregnant by Anakin. Those scenes take Anakin down a different path. However, even after Anakin chokes Padme, tries to kill Obi-Wan, and turns to the dark side, he still has one more chance to make things right then and there. He could have simply just killed Palpatine. But why didn't he? What's the real answer? Well, George Lucas explains to us again that it's a mindset thing, a matter of perspective from a different point of view. So if you have the book on hand, and for historical purposes, I'd urge you to now turn with me to page 536 to 541 of the Star Wars Archives 1999 to 2005 by Paul Duncan. Here George hints at the part of the first reason why Darth Vader doesn't immediately kill Palpatine. Vader hears that Padme died. He got put on the operating table before he got a chance to save her, and she died. So it's more of a railing at the gods, or the fates that, given another month, I could have saved her. He thinks he was powerful enough on the landing platform before Obi-Wan intervened, so he looks at it as bad luck, or fate that he couldn't get the thing accomplished in time to save his wife. So immediately here we know now, straight from George Lucas, that Anakin continued to see his life differently. Though Palpatine does tell Vader at the operating table that his anger killed Padme, he still saw things as a matter of inconvenience, or bad luck. When Vader yells out his resounding no at the news, as George Lucas says, it's a lamentation at the gods, at the Force, at the way life unfolded for him, that it was less of his doing and more of life's doing. So here we see that his fate was dealt not by Palpatine, rather by life itself. Now let's backtrack into that same interview. George Lucas lays out the pieces of fate from Anakin's point of view, and really how fate dealt him that poor hand. George explains, Anakin wants to have a family. He wants to be married to Padme and have children. When he sees in his dreams that Padme is going to die, he doesn't know how, but it's preordained. He's in love with her. He doesn't want her to die. He wants to possess her, to control that. He keeps getting himself deeper and deeper into this pickle. He wants a family, but at the same time, he knows he can't have one. Now the greed is taken over, and the fear of losing his wife and his baby. The whole point of this is you can't possess somebody because they are their own person. You can't dominate and make them do everything you want them to do. Paul Duncan interviews and says, Anakin's walking into a death trap, and there's no way out. And reflecting on Palpatine, George Lucas further adds that Palpatine lied to Anakin. They can't stop death. Anakin got sold a bill of goods because he wanted it so bad that he'd believe anything anybody would sell him. It's a scam, claims George Lucas. Anakin made a pact with the devil. Now, as we keep going, Mr. Duncan then questions George Lucas very directly with the big question we've all been waiting for to reveal the answer to with this video. He asked him the big question in a very direct way. So why is Vader now subservient to Darth Sidious afterwards if he can't save Padme? George Lucas says, what else is he gonna do? It's hard for somebody like that to get a job, you know. He's all vengeance and hate, frustration. It's all that dark side anger. He's steeped in that now. He's going off on his revenge life to take it on everybody. He's got that job now. Darth Sidious says to him, you're gonna be my new special right-hand guy. Nobody else in the Empire thinks that much of Anakin. He's not this see-all, know-all, powerful evil guy. He's mostly a beat-up tin can, but he's powerful in a way that only the Emperor knows, which is with the Force. Nobody else believes in the Force. I mean, the Jedi had the Force and it didn't help them that much. They all got killed, so he's a regular guy in a bad situation doing bad things. But to George Lucas's credit, something maybe we all didn't think of originally, Darth Vader has a job, and it's probably the only job available to him. So now that we see that final piece truly unlock once and for all, where many have valid theories and probably with some truth to them, when you peel back all the layers, all the side novels, all the comics, and come back to the root of the things by listening to George Lucas himself, by his own admission, it comes back to the fact that Anakin became lost, not only turning into Vader, but simply losing himself in darkness. By George's own admission, I think it's very apparent that Vader was a lost soul in a pitch black tunnel with not even a dot of light shining somewhere in that space. Turning away from George Lucas, we delve back into our infinite other possibilities and answers and theories on why that subservient nature continued for Anakin with regards to Palpatine and serving him. Did Vader continue to serve because he had no other purpose, or was he still always secretly chasing a way to bring Padme back? From what we know, Vader certainly had his own ruminations and ideas to bring her back, and even in some side comics we see him have encounters with Sabe, a former member of Padme's guard. Perhaps those things kept him going. Perhaps they kept him thinking about a reunion, and that it was closer than he thought. On the opposite hand, Vader could have also been pulled out of the darkness by his son Luke 19 years later. But even then, when you think deeply into it, the biggest connection here with Luke Skywalker, Padme and Anakin, but even when you think deeply into it, Vader's biggest connection to Padme at that point, this connection to that fantasy of seeing her again and saving her, somehow reconvening and reuniting with her, at this point it comes through their children together, right? Luke Skywalker. So perhaps all along, it wasn't necessarily Luke himself, the idea of the son that made him have a need to do good, or a need to restore balance, or even to correct and break away from Palpatine. Perhaps it was simply that reminder that Padme was always still there, that pulled Vader out of his own madness. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed another deep dive into the archives. I truly love making these videos, and I love all these different angles we get directly from George Lucas himself. And even when we get that final answer, it just seems to create even more possibilities and theories for all of us to enjoy together as fans of the great American mythos. Before we go, I want to leave you with one interesting quote from Natalie Portman on George Lucas's thoughts on good intentions, and I'll pose a question to you after. First, dissect. Natalie Portman says in an interview with Paul Duncan, some people think that bad people were always bad. It had this tendency towards aggression and control and power from the beginning. I think the most interesting thing about George Lucas's theory of morality is that evil comes out of a good intention from a good person. So with that quote in mind, I leave you with this. Do you think George Lucas thought Palpatine could have been a good person at the start, a person that was corrupted, a person that was later corrupted by evil? Let's debate that down in the comment section below. Curious to see what you have to say. If you like hearing this story from the Star Wars Archives with Paul Duncan, be sure to purchase not only the 1999 to 2005 version, but also the original trilogy version of the same title. Both are beautifully bound and truly well crafted, both as physical books, but content-wise as well. And while you're at it, definitely go show Mr. Duncan some love for all of his hard work and his contributions to the Star Wars community. Don't forget to tell him that I sent you. And while you're going off in the comment section down below, always remember, the truth can be elusive, but you'll find what you're looking for if you lead with a good heart. Until next time everyone, stay safe out there, and may the Force be with you, always.